Okay, functional notation. Okay, so I'm going to give you two different functions. F of x equals x plus 3, and g of x equals x squared minus 4. So this is really a fancy way of just saying like y equals, but we just have names, f of x, g of x, you could go h of x. And when I say of x, this means that this is your input variable, and f of x would be your output. So what is f of 2? It means input a 2 into the x position. So 2 plus 3, so f of 2 equals 5. What would g of 6 be? So now you input a 6 into the g function. So 6 squared minus 4 equals 36 minus 4, which is 32. Okay, what is g of f of 1? So first you have to figure out what f of 1 is. So f of 1 is 1 plus 3, which is 4. So now what is g of 4? So g of 4 is 4 squared minus 4, which is 16 minus 4, or 12. What is f of g of 1? So you can see how you think these might be the same, but they're not, because you have to go in order. So you got to do g of 1 first. So g of 1 is 1 squared minus 4, which is negative 3. And now f of negative 3 is negative 3 plus 3, which is 0. Okay, what is f of g of x? So using this f function, we're going to use input plus 3. Input plus 3, that's the function. So what is our input? Our input is g of x. Instead of an x, I have a g of x. So what am I going to do? I'm going to input this, and then the plus 3. So x squared minus 4 plus 3, which is x squared minus 1. Okay, what is g of f of x? So what does the g function say? It says to do input squared minus 4. That's what the g function is all about. So what's the input? The input is this. Okay, so now we can't forget with binomial multiplication that when we square, it would look like this. X squared, that's my first, outside 3x, inside 3x, so that's 6x, last is 9. And then I still have to minus the 4. So that's my final answer. So always work from this outward. So here is an example. F of x equals 3x, and g of x equals the square root of x plus 5. So compute the answer to f of 9. So f of 9 means to plug a 9 into the f function. So 3 times 9, which is 27. G of 4 means plug 4 into the g function. So the square root of 4 plus 5, which is the square root of 9, which is 3. What is f of g of 11? So what is g of 11? So the square root of 11 plus 5, square root of 16, which is 4. So now I'm doing what is f of 4. So 3 times 4, which is 12. So you have to do that first. What is g of f of 2? So do f of 2 first. So 3 times 2, which is 6. So now what is g of 6? Square root of 6 plus 5, which is the square root of 11. What if I asked you f of g of x? So you're inputting this into that spot. So it'd be 3 root x plus 5. G of f of x. So you're inputting this into that x spot. Square root of your input plus 5. So your input got replaced with this input.